guys, welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Portsmouth. Now, in our last episode, we capped off a pretty poor month with an absolutely absurdly good win over Arsenal, in which we didn't really even look that bothered by them at times, and it was great to see, because for me that's the sign that we have got potential to actually build something cool, is when we start beating clubs bigger than us. And we've taken some decent results against those sort of sides at home. You know, we got a draw with Spurs at home. Obviously, we got beaten by Man United at home, but hey, and we got a win over Arsenal at home. So some decent results now. We've still got to play the likes of City and Liverpool, and and Chelsea. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows just yet. But we had a slightly easier run of games coming up, and I was kind of hoping that we could really kick on a little bit from that and try to get some points on the board to keep us going in the league. And we've had a very interesting month. Now, I have made one signing, which I told you about in the last episode, but we're going to talk about him in a sec, but I figured I'm just going to go through the... in fact, screw it, no, let's go to the transfers now. Let's go to transfer history. Right, okay, so we've actually made a couple. Obviously, I picked up a couple of players on free transfers before. So there's Christian Salas, who's gone out on loan, I believe, anyway. Or is he? No, I think he has gone on loan. Yeah, I've sent a few on loan to our Belgian affiliate, basically. But it was just a couple I picked up on free transfers. Gino Peters was an agent one, interestingly, but I actually liked him enough. Thomas Asenhus, of course. Radomir Cherny is the same kind of deal. Although I don't... he was a little bit of an error on my part. My scout said he was better than he was, and I can't remember who he picked him up from. Oh, okay, that's why. It was one of those type of ones, but you've got to take a risk on those ones. They're pretty much, I mean, look, 80 penalty, it was worth the risk to see if he was going to be any good or not. Zakeli Kumalo was, again, another player that we picked up off a free transfer. He hasn't got a work permit at the moment, but for me, he's pretty good. Like, he's got some potential, and he's still only 20, so again, I'm just trying to strengthen the backline. I can't remember who he used to play for. Kaiser Chiefs, and was released by Kaiser Chiefs, which was a surprise. But we picked him up, and of course he's gone on loan to Belgium as well, so he can get himself a work permit, because, you know, I think he's got potential for the future. My scout, well, Steve Weaver seems to reckon quite a lot of him, although we can only really... Trust me, he likes him. When he was at the club, he said he liked him, and that potential there strikes me as being quite useful. So that's going to be good, because we've got some stuff to talk about with that. And the other one that I'm really quite pleased about is this guy. This is Jefferson Rios, who is Colombian, I believe. And it's the same situation, basically. Couldn't get a work permit for him. But it was released by Deportivo Cali. But now that we've got our affiliate club in Belgium, I can now send these guys there and get them work permits. And for me, he's got a lot of potential to be pretty damn good as a left-sided attacking midfielder. Now, this stand doesn't reckon he's that good. But genuinely, Steve Weaver has him at 4 stars as a left-sided attacking midfielder. So if we can get him to play, I've got to say, I'm pretty pleased. And they've both got relishing big matches. Inconsistent maybe, but no injury proneness, which is quite important here. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with some of those guys. Those were all free transfers, but you know I love a good free transfer. That's how we've done this entire save, pretty much. Now, there's 2 other players that we picked up. One was almost by accident. I will talk about him first. This is Dylan Verstraeten. And the only reason I was made aware of this lad was because, who was it? Somebody put in a bid for him. And because we've got our affiliate deal with the Belgian side, OHL, we were then offered the chance to match the bid. The bid was matched at 300, I think, thousand? Yeah, 350,000, sorry. And I figured my scouts liked him. I was not aware of him at any point. He'd not appeared in any of my scouting reports at any stage, but we got the chance, and I figured, you know what, for 300,000, we may as well bring the lad. He's a bit slow, but again, he's a defender, and that's an area we really do need to strengthen. Complete role model for younger players. That's good to have at the club as well. That'll come in handy as he gets a little older. My point is, though, I'm starting to strengthen at the back, basically. Again, with youngsters, but they've got a lot of potential, and they're not even that bad as it is. Bear in mind, Adam Webster is only 2.5 stars at the moment, I believe. So it's been pointed out that he's probably not going to get any better, and that's quite clear to us. He is the captain at the moment, but I have decided that he may end up leaving at the end of the season. I don't want to get rid of him now because it's January and he is the captain, so he may end up just leaving on a free, but I don't really mind because he's not worth that much anyway. He's only worth about 200k, so it doesn't really bother me that he does leave on a free. But we need to start strengthening the defence. I have started doing that with the signings of like Marcelo and Robert Gray, but I've tried to improve that with the likes of Kumalo and Verstraeten, and just in general we're getting there, and I'm going to look especially for strength in defence in the summer. The other thing I want to say before I get into talk about David Borges is that I ordered my new computer yesterday. It has been ordered. it's a custom build, so it's going to take a few days to sort out. They won't actually start building it until Monday, but I should be getting it. I've got like fast track delivery and all this sort of shit, just because I really do need to get it sorted. It's coming on Thursday, I think. So Thursday the 8th of January. So obviously you won't see any videos on it immediately, because I'm going to have to do a couple of days worth of recording ahead of time, which I don't really like doing. As you might have noticed lately, it's been a lot more frequent. Like, I've been recording the day before I put the video out, so it's nice, and yeah, I can take into account the suggestions you guys have for me much earlier. But I might have to just get a couple of days in hand so that I can spend those days sorting out the new computer, getting FM and everything's transferred across. I've got to sort out a load of big stuff for that. But the point is, once you see the first videos on that, the quality is going to be much better in terms of graphics. All the Livecom games, obviously I'll have the graphics all on ultra, or if there is an ultra, but you know what I mean, high, as high as I can have them basically turned up. Also, when we talk about games, I'll be showing you the 3D highlights of all the matches from the month that we've just had as well while I talk about them, so that'll give you guys a little bit more of an insight and maybe get you to feel the story a little bit more. So the other player I wanted to talk to you about, also a question of the day. I have kind of faded away of doing that, and don't worry, I'm still going to do the Q&A video. I just haven't been able to sort the camera. I'll do it when I get the new computer, so it will be coming soon. I probably will do face cam, just because why the hell not. Fact is, you're probably going to see my face over the next couple of months anyway, because of stuff potentially to do with the FM League and God knows what else. So yeah, my question today is this: just what is your favourite type of music or band? Shove it in there. That sounds horrible. Ignore that last part. Don't shove it in there. Don't shove it anywhere, in fact. Right, so let's get on to the signing that I'm most pleased about. This is David Borges. I'm ecstatic that we managed to get this guy. We got him for 1.5 million quid from Vitória Guimarães, or Guimarães. I'm not exactly sure how it's pronounced. I had a bit of a rivalry with them when I was playing as União de Madeira last year on FM14. But I don't know how we got him. I mean, look at that. He's worth 5.5 million already, and he's only 19. He's got, I don't know, he's just got some great stats and some great areas. Look at that, 19 teamwork, 19 work rate. He is a hard-working cat. 18 stamina as well. Also, his passing might only be 13, but I've noticed some really pinpoint accurate long passes from him so far. He really has great, well, apparently, to me he has great vision, but apparently that's one of his weaknesses. He's picked some amazing passes, so make of that what you will. But for me, he's a quality player, and he's the one I'm excited about bringing in. So now we have 3 defensive midfielders. We've got Ivancic, Borges, and we've got Assenhuis. So it's a bit more, there's room for manoeuvrability. Also, I haven't played the same strategy for every single game this month, and I'll explain why. But first, we're going to get into our first game of the month, which was against Swansea City, and we did play the strategy we've been using this month for this game. And we've played Swansea a lot this month. I mean, a lot. This was the third round of the FA Cup. They took the lead through Sebastian Blanco, poor defending from us, and then Ali Burrell immediately, practically, equalised for them. And you'll notice that Ali Burrell's value is starting to go up and up and up now. He's having a better and better season. He's now 4-star rated, 7.5 million in value. That's how much we bought him for. He's got a £51 million release clause in his contract. Ivancic has also signed a new deal with a £56 million release clause in it, so that's good to see. Just some good stuff in general, basically. He's on 30 grand a week, but the fact is, he's worth it for me. We just need to be careful with him. Then Swansea went back in front through Donjo Shelvey with an absolute long-range peach, but that was then cancelled out with a penalty scored by Jack Watmore, who's been getting on the score sheet a little bit more lately. And, they had more half chances, we had more clear cuts, they had more shots. A draw's probably a fair result on that one. Which meant, of course, we had a replay, which was a pain. But I said to myself, right, we're just going to... And plus, we got drawn against Man United in the next round of the Cup. So it was like, well, I'm just going to put our weakened side in the home leg against Swansea. So in our next game, we had West Ham United at home, and they are struggling in the league. And we played our standard tactic, the one we've been using with the 2 defensive midfielders, as you can see, Ivancic and Assenhuis. And we got off to an absolute flyer. Wallace put us in front of 4 minutes before Norman Millington, Sir Norman, made it 2-1. Now... 2-0. They didn't really do a lot after that, and I thought we were going to really kick on because we were dominating at this point, but they did get a goal back late on through Joey Ashton, and I was worried that they might try and nick something from this game. Thankfully, they didn't in the end, and we did get away with what I feel we probably deserved on the balance of things. A 2-1 win for us, which was good. West Ham are not having a good season at all. So yeah, also someone said that they wanted to look at the finances, and I will do that. In fact, I'm going to do that now, just while I'm thinking about it. These are the finances that we are currently operating at. As you can see, nice and improving. We've got quite a few sponsors now. Now, you notice that our debt is only £12.5 million now. We're paying that off there, but it's because, I think I already explained this in a different episode, but basically what happened is that because we earned so much money last season, the club actually paid off a lot of the debt in one lump, and you can actually do that, but I can't do it, it does it for you. So, in theory, at the end of this season, we should be completely debt-free, because they will almost certainly pay off the remainder of that. We have spent quite a fair amount on transfers this summer, as you can probably tell. But, if you actually look at terms of our projections, we are still projected to earn a decent amount of money, and that's pleasing. It can only go well for us in terms of that at the moment. Of course, salary commitments is going to change. That's not really relevant. We are still spending a fair amount on wages, but compared to the other clubs, not a great deal. Here's our income if you're interested. You may have to pause it at some point if you actually want to take a proper look at this sort of stuff, because it's something I'm not really too well versed in, so you'll just have to sort of read out of this what you will. I've noticed we're getting very little from fundraising here. Maybe we should arrange like a... Do you remember on anyone who's actually ever played FIFA Manager, you could arrange things like a family fun day and all this sort of weird shit for the club? Never really had much of an effect if I recall, but it was still kind of a weird feature that I quite liked. Expenditure, of course, is things like so. So yeah, agent fees are taking up a lot of that, which is a pain. But that's because we've got slightly better players. Slightly better players want a lot more money. Ivancic ended up costing like £1 million in agent and signing on fees just to get him to sign a new deal. But for me, it was worth it because now he's got that huge release clause in his contract. Also, I got Jed Wallace on a one-year extension. I had to give him some more money, but I got rid of that stupid highest earner clause in his contract because I figured next season we may have to start spending a little bit more on wages to bring in some bigger players because we should have more transfer funds. But the last thing I wanted was me trying to sign a striker that ends up wanting 60 grand a week, if he's world class, well, perhaps not world class, but decent quality, and then Jed Wallace is getting 60 grand a week, because as good as Jed Wallace is, he's not 60 grand a week. It's as simple as that. Anyway, so there you go, there's the finances. Let's go back to the schedule now and go on to our next game. So that was another win. So that's actually 2 straight league wins in the pack and only 1 defeat in 5, so not bad. All of a sudden, things are looking a lot better. In our next game, we had Swansea in the FA Cup in the replay, and would you believe it, we actually pissing won it. I don't know how, because they were probably the better side, but we still didn't play badly with a slightly rotated squad. As you can see, Martinez in goal, Hyam and Gray and Stanis Baratheon in the back. Borges played this one. Lucarelli started the game with Nick Powell, and as you can see from the bench, Gavin Morgan, Larrea, Chaplin. It was a weakened-ish sort of side, but it didn't really make any difference. Ali Burrell and Jed Wallace with the goals before Lewis Thomas got one back for Swansea, and they weren't even involved in the game at that point. They were not good. We actually probably did deserve it, actually, a little bit more, which put us through to the next round against Man United, and I guess it was good because it works well for season objectives, and now if we get knocked out by Man United, it's not quite so... The board won't care that we got knocked out early. That was kind of the key for us there, because I didn't want to get in trouble with the board for failing cup objectives when we're doing really, really well in the league. In our next game, we had a 1-1 draw against Norwich, and, it's at home, but you know how badly we struggled against Norwich, and I think I figured out what the problem was. And the same thing applied to Southampton. They play this they play this formation with basically a back four, a defensive midfielder, 2 centre mids split in a sort of, in front of that, and then 2 wingers, and then a striker up front, almost like a sort of diamond kind of thing, but without the attacking mid. Whenever we come up against that system, we always get slaughtered, whether we play our really attacking style with the 2 centre mids, or we play the same style with the 2 defensive mids, like we did against Southampton. We just seem to get slaughtered. So I decided to try our old defensive style where we have a centre mid and a defensive mid, which is why Kieran Griffiths actually started this game, and it seemed to work. We weren't superb against Norwich, but we were better, and it seems that seems to be the best way of playing against teams that utilise that type of system. So we are going to be a little bit more reactionary, looking at what sort of style the other teams line up with before we choose what system we're going to play. But I think that's going to help us in the long run, because we do have those 3 formations for a reason. Conor Wickham put them in front, but we did equalise through Ali Burrell, which was wonderful. And it was the only clear-cut chance of the game, to be fair. So we could have maybe even had slightly more, but I think a draw is a fair result. And Norwich are a good side in this. Let's not make any mistakes about that. They've got some good regens as well. They're a very, very decent team. So a point, and it keeps us unbeaten in 6 games then, in all competitions, which is good. In our next game, we had Man United in the Cup, and, well, that man again, the Basto, Philippe Basto, put us to the sword, basically. I mean, he was just great. And they had a lot of shots in this game, but it was it was a bit of a battering, really. I mean, Philippe Basto put the goals in the net, but there could have been many, many more. Jed Wallace got one back for us with some nice play, but as you could see, 8 clear-cut chances, 6 half chances. They are ripping this league limb from limb at the moment. And I did play a slightly weakened side again, so, it's understandable. In fact, that we only lost 3-1, considering the amount of shots they had. I think we've got something about us a little bit more defensively now. So I'm pretty damn pleased with how that went. We went out, but we were probably always going to go out. And I wanted to try and rest players for the league game in the next match, which was against Stoke City, and this was a huge, huge result for us. Genuinely massive. Away at Stoke City, who have an absolutely great side these days. Begovic, Walker, Shawcross, Vallejo. Remember, that's the guy that's from... I think was at Arsenal at some point in his career? Maybe not. Yeah, he was. £11.5 million joined Stoke for. You see, they're spending a lot of money, these lads. They've got some great players. Robertson, of course, there's Bazoa, he's a player and all, he was ripping us apart at times. Bezic, Piaka, he was good. Kuro, Savitsky, Ayose, Chris Smalling even, Alan Babic, Will Hughes. I mean, Stoke have got a really solid side on FM this year, in this particular save. So for us to take the lead through Charlie Musonda was very, very impressive. Then when Kuro put them back in front, I figured, okay, well, a draw is a decent result. But then Musonda put us straight back in front again. He's had a good old time of it playing in that role. There was one downside to this game. Basically, Musonda has a new contract as well, because for me, he is a decent enough player at the moment. He's still got a little bit more room to improve. So, we'll take it. He's certainly good enough for the moment. The one downside of this game, though, is Kieran Griffiths. God. He twisted his ankle. 4 to 5 weeks was the original diagnosis. So, yeah, he's only played 4 league games this year and made 4 substitute appearances. So 4 starts, 4 sub appearances, and he's still got a decent average rating. He's just not having a good year for luck. And it's so sad to see because he's such a good player. And he's not even injury prone or anything. It's just getting such bad luck with injuries. And it's not because I rushed him back. I nursed him back in. I made sure he was 100% match fit before I started starting him for games, basically. We eased him back in with little 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 20-minute slots in our youth team. Just to really... I wanted to be delicate as a petal with that lad because he is so important to our team. And he's going to be out for quite a few more weeks now, which is a shame. But hopefully he'll have a speedy recovery. But the key thing is here, we won against Stoke, away from home. We had quite a few clear-cut chances in this game, so to be fair, I think we probably deserved it. And we got the result, which was fantastic. Stoke aren't having the best season, but the fact is they've still got a great team. So here's what the league looks like at the moment. We are up in 10th place, but we do have a game in hand on Norwich, who are above us, and we also have a game in hand on Saints, who are above us as well, but QPR have games in hand on us and 2 in hand on Saints, so they could actually catch right up to... Well, they can't, because Arsenal have games in hand too. Point is, we could go up as high as... well, in theory, up as high as 8th, which is, we're starting to get into that battle for a top half finish this year. And I think that's going to be where we're going to be aiming for. My aim for the rest of the season is to try and sneak into something like 8th place. Because that's a top half finish. It's just going to keep surrendering. I know we could try and catch for Europe, but we're not going to catch teams to go for Europa League. Because we'd have to get at least 6th, you'd feel. And I just don't see that as going to be a possibility, frankly, when you look at the teams that are in those positions. It's not going to happen. We'd have to win a cup or something to do that, and we have not been able to do that so far because we get terrible luck in the Capital One Cup, it seems. So, we're doing our best, but it's a slow process, and we're just going to keep strengthening year on year and trying to really push this team because it is going to be this is the tough part of the save. Is if it wasn't tough enough already, this is where it's really going to get tough. So let's take a little look at the squad. Goals, top goal scorers Jed Wallace and Ali Burrell with 9 apiece now. So Wallace is really coming back a little bit now. Assist-wise, Wallace with 10, of course, is right up there. Player of the match, Wallace again, just proving what an important player he is for us. Albert Torres Crespo is still right up there, but Borges has done a great job with his pass completion as well. Also knows that I put a tackle in, that's for sure. Yellow cards, Ivancic with 5. That's nice and low, I like that. Red cards, McAvoy's got the 1 red card, and obviously average rating is Jed Wallace by far better than anyone else. He just does such a good shift for us. So they're playing a 4-5-1, which means I'm quite content to stick with the system. This is the same system that they played against as the 2 previous times, so I'm quite content to go with our usual formation. Who have we got? Borges and Ivancic. Powell will obviously come in here because Musonda is just a little jaded, and obviously injured is Griffiths. So Powell is actually fit though now, or as good as he's going to be basically. So it's still a fairly strong side. Marcelo, would I rather play him or Yanko? To be honest, I'd rather play him, but No, I'm going to put him in instead of Yanko. I know he's not quite as fit as Yanko, but I don't know. I just don't trust Yanko as much as I trust Marcelo. He's a better player. But if you see what I mean about Webster here, like, he is a 2.5-star player now, and he's only worth that much, but that's because his contract's coming up soon, probably. But I just don't know if he's strong enough to be sort of the main man for us in future years, basically. I think moving him on will allow people like Gray and those other youngsters to come through, as well as maybe a new strong player that I'll look for in the summer. But yeah, so here we go. This is what we're going to go with today. I have got it on clear ball to flanks, because that seems to have worked quite nicely for us. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with for now. I always adjust it during the game, but the fact is, if you start off with minimal instructions, then you can just sort of add stuff to it and take stuff away as and when you feel like it, and it's not too complicated for them either. So let's just see. It's Blanco that caused us all kinds of problems when we played them in the first game at home. Oh, sorry, away from home. But at home, they didn't really cause any problems. I think they went knackered as well, though, so that could have been a feature. But what I want to direct you guys' attention to is Borges. When he gets the ball in certain areas, he can really pick a pass. Like, he just, well, not there, that's a poor example, but he has a good vision for me. I know it says a 9, but I've seen him set so many good moves going. He hasn't got an assist for it or anything, but he started the move with a really incisive pass that cuts 2 or 3 players out of the game, and it's been great to watch. Marcelo with the throw on the right hand side here. Burrell flicks it down to Marcelo. Marcelo whips it across and it's cleared. Back to Tony Ivancic holding that role there. He needs to drop this ball off to someone. Whips it across for Charlie Taylor. Taylor, can he do anything with it? Has a little run. Drops around the corner for Kenneth McAvoy. Good strike and a good save. First chance of the game goes to Pompey there after 3 minutes. McAvoy maybe could have done a little bit better. I'm still tempted to give him another contract, you know. We can still bring in someone else, but I'm just tempted to keep him at the club because he still has something to offer for me. He's not that bad of a player. If he can stay fit for a little while, but then I've been saying that year on year, haven't I? So maybe I just need to cut my losses on him. I'm not sure. Borges drops it out to McAvoy. Can he find a little ball through the middle, or will he have a shot? No, drops it back for Randy Burrell, and it's cleared. Back to... Oh, Burrell! Oh, and is offside this time. Pompey have started very, very strongly here against Swansea, and Swansea have offered nothing, which is very similar to the first half of the FA Cup game that we played against them, which we won 2-1. It was all us in the first half, and it carried on like that until, really, they were already out of the game. Borges, Powell, Burrell, and Wallace is really far forward here. He's onside. Good strike, good save again. Pompey now have had 2 clear-cut chances. They've had some good opportunities, which they need to be putting away. Wallace now whips that ball across, and that's going to go in between them rather than where they'd want it. McAvoy, can he? He's going to have to put this ball into the box, you'd think. And, well, Neil Taylor has just swept that one out. We've got some, statistically, well, that's fine. We're keeping the ball quite well today. For me, we should be in front right now. We've created enough chances so far in this game to get ourselves in front, and it's a little disappointing that one of them hasn't gone in the net, really. Because this is, you know, this is a league game. It gives us some more points on the board. Borges out to Marcelo, who's nicely far forward there. Powell knocks it through the channel for Wallace. Wallace has to find Burrell here. Burrell! That looked offside. I think he's offside, guys. No, he's not. It's Pompey 1, Swansea 0. And Burrell, actually, I've noticed he scored several of his goals like that now, with these running across the defender kind of runs, where he just makes a diagonal run into these kind of channels and is able to just slide it home. Why has my mouse disappeared, or is that just because it's loading highlights? I hope my mouse hasn't crashed. Otherwise, we've got problems. Right. Hopefully this highlight won't think about getting the new computer. That won't be a problem. So yeah, he just makes these lovely little runs where he just diagonally runs across the face of the defender. Although that one he was already in front of him, just poor defending. But it's his 10th goal of the season, so that's good. Pompey 1, Swansea 0, and we deserve that. We've been the better side so far, but we can't let them come back at us in the second half, because that is what happened. And oh my God, can you not go one game, Nick? One game! Seriously, how many times have... Like, I think I've used him in our last 2 live comms, and I'm pretty certain he's got injured in both of them. Thank God for Charlie Musonda, but Nick Powell, Jesus. He can't stay fit. I don't think he's even particularly injury prone. He just cannot seem to stay fit. Didn't even play the last game against Stoke because he couldn't. It was his parent club, so that's a pain. So that's one less substitution we've got, but it does get Charlie Musonda on, which is, for me, he's a better player than Powell anyway at times, because at least he doesn't get injured constantly. Always a bonus. Right, so what are we going to do? I'm quite content to leave it for now, but they're obviously going to do something in this second half, and I want to make sure that we've got an answer for it when they do, because they're not just going to lay down and die, especially not at 1-0. Then again, they may not be throwing so much caution to the wind just yet, because it is only 1-0. They may try and persist with their tactic, but it would appear as though they're not going to do that. Oh dear. I don't want them to... This is another thing I really hate sometimes on FM, where you dominate the first half, like completely control the game, but only score like maybe one goal. They come out in the second half and they're immediately Barcelona, and they've just got an answer to whatever you do. And like, I understand that obviously managers are going to change things, but I don't know, whatever they change, it always seems to work, and it's pain. So let's hope that isn't going to be like this today. Let's hope that whoever's managing Swansea now is a bit of a tactical pygmy, so we can try to get ourselves something from this. And we're not really... I'm thinking it might end up being a case of turning off the push higher up and then turning it on to close down a little bit more, because they are... Oh, come on, what was that for defending? They're already looking slightly better. And that might just be, you know, the first knockings of the second half kicking in, but I don't know. I just worry that it's going to do what it always does and flip the game on you. Right. Total team... Oh, wait, no. I almost said total team talk. V2. Everton are 3-0 up. That's not really important to us. Unless they're playing someone near us. Ball through the middle and again. Right, okay. Drop deeper. Close down more. Because clearly they've sussed out that we're playing a high line and are knocking balls over the top for Rodriguez to run onto. So let's try and drop a little deeper to prevent them from doing that. And hopefully that should be able to hoover up any of those opportunities and provide a little wall. Let them shoot from range if they want to, but be careful with that still, because the fact is we've been known to concede quite a few from long range just because we... right. Tony Ivancic. 72, it's not that knackered. But we've got Asenhus, and I'm going to make the substitution now just because Ivancic clearly does have a little bit of an injury problem, and I do want to wrap him up in cotton wool when I, you know, because we need him for important games. Jeb Wallace has had a great game again, as you can see, with an 8.9. He's really had a good game. Despite Ali Burrell scoring, he's still only on a 6.9. Taylor there. Right, just pass it back to the keeper, or that's it, even better, just drop it into Jack Watmore. Swansea have certainly pushed up, but that could easily play into our hands at times. Oh, he's going to get... He's gone. Igovski's gone. Yep, there we go. Second yellow card. Dudum Tish. For him, it is 1-0 to Portsmouth and Swansea down to 10 men. So now we should be okay. Yeah, we'll close him down a little bit more too, though. Arsenal are losing. That's interesting for us. And Southampton are beating QPR. That is also interesting for us. Things are actually going quite well for us in terms of other teams' performances. Right, let's make one more sub. Our last one. Ali Burrell has not actually had the best game, and he's actually quite knackered. So we're going to bring on Sir Norman. There we go. 10 minutes. He's got a lot of goals in a relatively small amount of actual appearances for us, so I'm pretty pleased. Oh, Jesus. What is with that attacking midfield position? And... Right. We're going strikerless, lads. We are going strikerless. Norman can play in there anyway, so the last couple of minutes, in fact, I'm just going to drop it onto defence. I know we're playing against 10 men, but I'd rather just keep the win, frankly. You know, it's only a 1-0. It will keep us a clean sheet as well, which would be decent. But the injuries are worrying me. That's 2 or 3 players I've had. And there we go, 1-0 Portsmouth. Another win over. We've had a decent month. This is the 3rd time I've played Swansea, and we've won 2 and drawn 1. Pretty pleased about that. We do need to address it's a good win. Just give them some credit, Christ. Worrying about the injuries again, though, and just as we were starting to get them off of our backs, we've actually now got Griffiths, Powell, and Musonda. Look like they're all going to be out injured. They all play the same bloody position. This is getting ridiculous. But we're up to 8th in the league, and as you can see, a game in hand on Southampton could put us up as high as 7th, which is pretty damn good. So we really are starting to climb the league now. We've actually got more wins than we have losses and draws, which is good. We're not even that far behind the likes of Arsenal. You just never know. A really good finish to the season, but the injuries, I think, are going to be the downfall. Really, I just think they're going to cost us in the end. We're not going to have a big enough squad, and even if we did, these injuries are just crippling us at times. So, yeah, let's go into the inbox and see if there's any serious injuries, or hopefully they'll be fine. Well, interestingly, Powell is not seriously injured, but Musonda... Oh, my days. So we're going to lose Musonda, but Powell is fine, until he gets injured in the next game. He seems to get injured a lot, but never actually injured. He just has to come off after like 20 minutes. Oh, that's enough. So that means Powell is going to be heavily relied on in the next few games, so, which is our next game anyway. So in the next month, we've got a few games, actually. Oh, it's going to be Fulham again. Christ, we still play Fulham so much, and it's at home, though. So we've got some toughies next month. We've got City away, which is going to be massively tough, but they do have a few players out. Liverpool at home, tough again, but you never know, we're at home. QPR away, really tough. Sunderland away should be winning that, and Fulham at home should be winning that. I'll tell you what, you just never know what we can come up with. This is the Pompey team of dreams. Who knows what we could do? So guys, if you like what you've seen, please feel free to drop a like on the episode, and if you'd like it even more than that, please feel free to subscribe to my channel for more Portsmouth and Red Star Belgrade in your inbox every single day at 5:30 and 8 o'clock, and I will see you guys in the next episode for the Fulham game. Bye bye.